Howdy folks, today we're greeting you from yet another place. This is Gorges State Park, not to be confused with Gorges. This is as of like a gorge, like Tallulah Gorge. We're going on a Rainbow Falls hike as well as the Turtleback hike. Winding road just to get here. Entry with the RV is fairly difficult. I didn't appreciate it at all. This park is allegedly built in a campground, and I gotta say, from just standpoint of driving my 23-foot RV here, it is kind of difficult if you have a bigger vehicle. It is twisty and winding and high curves, and just to be able to get here from Highway 64, which itself is winding and difficult to navigate, all sorts of cambered turns and everything like that. But here we are, getting ready for the hike, and hopefully it's going to be a good day.
It'll be 1.5 miles to get to Rainbow Falls. There will be 2 creek crossings on the way. One right here, and one right here that's just a little bit wider. There are rocks going across both of them. Shouldn't have to get your feet wet unless you want to. Sometimes it's fun to get your feet wet though. Sometimes it's fun not to. Sometimes you have to think about the future too. If your feet are wet now, they're gonna be wet later. And then we'll stop at Rainbow Falls, talk for just a little bit, and then I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to hike up to Turtleback Falls or not. Might wander down to the observation deck below and check it out, and then we'll start wandering back onto the trailhead. So it should take roughly 45 minutes to an hour to get to Rainbow Falls, and then we'll add about 10 minutes to that thing on the way back out. So if it takes us 45 to get there, plan on 55 on the way out. If it takes an hour to get there, plan on 1 hour and 10 on the way out. Alright, there's no time like the present.
We are on the Rainbow Falls Trail. They have a tour guide who is going about 95 miles an hour. We're holding back, catching up to that group every once in a while. You could see the profile of this trail is mostly river rock with a slight incline going down the hill. There's a bit of a creek that passes through the trail, and very moist. There's fog just about everywhere. Getting to the parking lot was pretty much a whiteout. And the goal is to reach Rainbow Falls and then separate with that group. Oh, you can see the creek passing through. Whee, there it goes. We have come up on one of the first creek crossings. The shell is fairly easy to get down, as you see right behind me. And from what I've been told, there's 2 such crossings. We have left the territory of the Gorges State Park, and this area is being managed by Mount Pisgah area, Pisgah National Forest. And you can see the character of the trail has changed drastically. No more grooming, no more gravel, sort of easy kind of path. It's all rooty, all clay, down the hill with high erosion. And I don't know if camera is picking this up. Hear that? That, my friends, is the waterfall, which is the Rainbow Falls. So the goal is to get there and experience it. The group is a little bit behind me, looking at some caterpillar millipede looking thing. This is the second crossing. The water is clear, but you can see that it's rather sedimented. And I guess if you do the jumpity jump over the rocks, you could get over the other side unscathed. The trick is, if you get your shoes wet, you're gonna be stuck with the wet shoes in perpetuity, so that's something for you to consider. But you could see how all the water systems are feeding into the bigger picture, which is the waterfall, where we go next. One thing I found particularly interesting, if you look, there's a lot of trees that are dying here, either stricken by some disease or some bug or something like that, and because it's just perpetually wet, everything is covered in fungus. It looks really cool, but that's what's killing the trees here. This is a rainforest through and through, and just on cue you could sort of see rain percolating through the trees and everything like that. It's a bizarre confluence of appreciating the outdoors. I'm sure this is maybe just a season. At a different season this could be different, but it's just perpetually wet here. Which kind of brings me to the next point. As you travel in this neck of the woods, have plenty of backup clothes, because you are not going to be able to dry them. A lot of the stuff we've been trying to hang on ropes and on my clothes dryer thingamajig, and it's just impossible. It is always like 80-90% humid out here. It feels wonderful, don't get me wrong. It's not like Florida where it's humid and hot. This is just humid and probably like high 70s, maybe early 80s or so. But still nothing dries. Right off the trail there's a couple of spots where if you come down a little ways, you could come across the river, wash your face. That area over there is, from what I've been told, called the bucket, where the water just kind of churns. It's fairly deep in there. It's babbling. It's almost like a jacuzzi. I got stuck in one on the rock slide. It was all the way up to my chest. But here you can see how it's kind of rocky and bouldery. No doubt helped by the recession of the iceberg. Part of the local ecosystem. I guess you can't be too surprised. My biggest arch nemesis, the stairs, yet again. To an average common folk, this is no big whoop. To a guy with an injured knee, not so much. But that's all a part of the experience. We've been following this river for a little bit. You could see the intensity of it through some of the leaf brush. And I'm guessing we must be getting somewhat close to the falls, because it is picking up. Oh, look at that, there's even falls on the other side. How cool is that? It's a cool little hike. As you see, now we're hiking up. There are some maintained stairs yet again, and we could see a clearing off in the back there, so maybe we're getting close. It is wet. The trail perpetually has either a stream or a creek or some sort of moisture dripping off of it. So, but we could see a big clearing. Maybe that's a sign of something. Let's investigate. Ooh, I see something really interesting. I spy a waterfall. And a beautiful one too. How cool is this? Whew! Look at that. Look at that. Look at this. You could just feel the mist off of it. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful place. So we are at the Rainbow Falls, and trust me, the view, I mean, how do you even parlay that over into, look at that. That is just truly breathtaking. You know, the only thing that would make this moment a lot better is if it was sunny, but you know, the weather is what the weather is. But it is absolutely spectacular. I think that rock over there is where people jump from. Obviously, you don't see that many people right now. It is a weekday. And I don't know if we're gonna see anybody there, period. Because it's not exactly swimming weather, but it's still weather, that's for sure. But it looks spectacular. Wow. Absolutely breathtaking. Very humid. You could see all the little droplets kind of mosey over here. I think what's happening is, as it's misting over there on the bottom, the wind is picking this up, so it's carrying it. Really cool. So a little backstory to this otherwise wonderful, wonderful place. Unfortunately, this summer there's been 2 fatalities of people going over the falls, waiting where they shouldn't have, swept up by current. A guy, and a couple of weeks later, a girl. Very tragic. But now we're gonna leave the observation platform on the way back. But this up here is a little quick 0.2 mile hike to get to our next stop, which is the Turtle something falls. The thing about this wonderful, wonderful place. By the way, let me show you a little memorial. Over there is that on the top, it's really not that remarkable, and you'd never know that there's an absolutely fantastic waterfall from this angle. But you could see how with the swift current, it's very easy to get swept up. There's no way to catch yourself, everything is slippery. And that, unfortunately, is how those 2 people are no longer with us on this planet Earth. Safety applies to everybody. I mean, look at it. You could see through the trees. Look how swift that is. And then the rest of the trail kind of wanders through this little jungle area. Coming up this little cove. Now guys, I just want to put something for reference, right? This is Turtleback Falls, as the name suggests. I would not feel safe swimming here, okay? I'm sorry, but this is just because what happens is, even though you could climb here and go down that, On the other side of all of this, there's a ginormous waterfall. You fall in there, and that's game over, my friends. I've seen YouTube videos where people climb up underneath the waterfall. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but heaven forbid you bounce your head against anything. I mean, look just how much garbage is there. Maybe if the weather's nice and the water levels are lower and the water flow is much less, but in its current state, Most people, unless they do proper research, would never know about this little place where I've been reading some reviews, looking at some pictures, and there's a couple of people that have moseyed over to this little area. You pass the Turtle Falls, there's another waterfall, and if you know, and if you could persevere, whoop, you could sort of see it through the thick of brush. You could certainly hear it. And this will be like a waterfall number 3 within the span of just a little bit. The question is, how do we get to it without leaving the trail? Because it's like right there. You could get there by here, but then it's obstructed. I don't know, do we go forward? Trail ends here. Use property, what? Behind this sign. Okay, let's go down there. Right there. Right there. There's a sign over there that he is reading. Whoops. But the rest of us are taking this little thing downstairs. Incredibly, there's a no trespassing sign over there, and you can't really see what you need to see, but there it is on the other side of that. That's pretty sad, because on the pictures it looked really cool. You know, I think it's very unfortunate that you have to deal with this to appreciate nature. As far as I'm concerned, the waterfall shouldn't belong to somebody with private property. It should be property of the state and a gift to the people. This is the beginning of the waterfall system. The highway is right on the other side of this tree ridge. You could technically jump from rock to rock to rock, but you know what? With my knees, I really have better things to do than. So I'm just gonna wait until I get to where I have to get. Oh wow, look at that. Look at this. How cool is that? We are officially done with the hike, and we wanted to check out the so-called under construction campground. Believe it or not, it's a one-way thing, and it doesn't let you go further, so we had to do a K-turn out of there. And so we ended up going to the visitor center. Look at this. What a really cool building. very sort of a, I don't know, first thing about this place, but somebody put a lot of effort into putting this together, that's for sure. Just an FYI, if you have an RV, just like we do, you could actually go through the parking lot, do a 180, and come out that way. Driving through the park, oh my goodness, the curves and the incline, holy jeep. That is quite some elevation change. The curves are a lot. They're obviously not designed for RVs, which I'm finding kind of interesting that they chose to put campground way further down. Just to kind of get you a spatial awareness of. So you get off 281 here, and then you go down this weird ridge, and that's when it goes down, 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 and that's where you end up going for the hike. To get back to here, there's one heck of an incline. It's like you gotta go through all of this. Now, we tried going here. This is under construction. Other than one piece of equipment, we didn't really see anything. Another thing is this trail up here. I'm probably guessing wrong, but there's this road that goes north, park exit, maybe that's it, I don't know, but there's also a secondary trail that goes here, and there's another waterfall in there. We weren't able to go up here because this is a one-way situation, so if you want to check out for yourself, you kind of have to figure that one out on your own. Look at the sign. You know what? It looks to me that, and granted, I don't know first thing about this park. It looks to me like this is brand new, everything. It's well architectured, well designed. You could see little waterfall. They might have miscalculated the water drippage a little bit, but this actually does look cool. Very interesting looking architecture. Stones and all of that stuff. How cool is this? Recent bear activity. So other than the little souvenir shop, they have this little exhibit here. Gorges State Park, right over here. This is what we did before, the Blue Ridge Parkway, and we did the I think it's further out that way, 276, and then went through 64 back here, and our next stop is about here ish. Talking about rain exhibits. Was a little I guess observation area. Amphitheater. Make your own waterfall exhibit. So this is like a little there's one of the Gorges in there. Pretty cool. Well guys, my impression of this park is it's still going through its teething process. It has a obviously it's a new park. Everything is relatively new, everything is coming together. I figure given another 15-20 years it will develop its own character and everything like that. But such a privilege to be able to come out to a place like this and enjoy it to its fullest.